Leaving Newbiggin, it takes just over an hour to reach the crossing for Holy Island. A causeway separates Holy Island to the mainland, and it's cut off twice daily by rapidly incoming tides. So, one critical thing to check the day before is the all-important safe crossing times. For us, it was 10:05 onwards to around 3:20 in the afternoon, but we aim to head back around 2ish so we can do Bamborough Castle. But here, a salutary warning. Yes, every year people have to be rescued by the local Coast Guard after abandoning their cars. Later the car will have to be rescued too, but by that time it will probably be a write-off. But despite all the warning signs, people still try to cross in complete ignorance of the dangers. In fact, just recently I was reading that a family of 7 with a young baby were actually wading across, having abandoned their car. Unbelievable.
Watch your car being washed away.
We pass the wooden safety hut, which has no doubt seen a lot of use over the years. Holy Island's been on our bucket list for years, so we're really excited about being here at long last. The road across the island is 3 miles, with the first mile through the sea. Well, when the tide's out, of course.
That's where being in a slightly higher car. Sand that's been washed over it.
Obviously taken a bit longer to
Oh, the sea's coming across. Apparently if you get stuck out here, it's 4,000 quid it'll cost you for getting the helicopter out to rescue you. Plus that. Wow, it's awesome.
How long is this bit?
It's about a mile, I think, across.
It seems longer.
Yeah. So it's still 2.8 miles till we get to the car park. As we hug the shore in a moment, pretty close. That's pretty much it. We just won't get up to the bend boat, then we can stop.
After parking up, we're heading into the village. We'll be doing a mini tour of the island before stopping for lunch in a couple of hours' time. We pop into St Mary's Church opposite the Priory, and it's on the site of a much older wooden structure dating back to the 7th century. Way back in AD 635, St Aidan brought Christianity to Lindisfarne. He founded a monastery here and converted the pagans to Christianity. St Cuthbert took over after St Aidan's death, and in the church is a carving of St Cuthbert's coffin being carried to safety after the Viking attacks. His remains now reside in Durham Cathedral. The monastery we see now in ruins dates from the 12th century. The island has a population of around 160 people, and I guess, fishing apart, mostly are engaged in tourism and hospitality, and those who work on the mainland are governed by the tide times, of course. Walking past fishing tackle and paraphernalia, it's interesting to see the old upturned boats recycled into sheds. That's quite some shed. As we walk amongst the fishing boats, I wonder what it must be like on this relatively flat tidal island in winter, with a strong easterly wind raking across. In 2 words, bitter cold, or a tad chilly at least. Inexorably, we are drawn to the castle on the hill, known as Beblow Crag. It was originally built as a fort in 1550. By 1819, after the last soldiers had left, it became a Coast Guard station, before eventually becoming a ruin in the late 19th century. In 1901, it was purchased by Edward Hudson, owner of Country Life magazine. He commissioned the architect Sir Edward Lutyens to remodel the castle into a fashionable residence. In 1944, it was gifted to the National Trust. Yes, would have been nice to see inside the castle, but hey-ho, we'll be in Bamburgh Castle this afternoon anyway. The mound in front is an old lime kiln, we'll see shortly. Great to see these carefully stacked stones on the beach. Lindisfarne, Holy Island, is indeed a spiritual place to be, and I can well imagine the feeling being here alone, with the sky aflame with an awesome sunrise, or maybe a spectacular sunset. That would do nicely. The lime kilns at Castle Point were built in 1860 to produce quicklime. It was dangerous work, with men suffering from caustic burns, and the dust would cause lung damage too, and could cause blindness. Blimey! But the poor devils at the time were probably desperate for work. Adjacent are remains of jetties where coal was brought in and quicklime exported. But by just 20 to 30 or so years later, the lime trade was in decline. This former vegetable patch below the castle was transformed into a floral garden by the famous gardener and artist Gertrude Jekyll. Jekyll and Hyde comes to mind, and there is a tentative link, as far as the name goes at least. Whilst Lutyens was transforming the castle, Gertrude transformed the garden.
Oh, look, they've got some woolly hats.
Oh, neat. Woolly hat for you. The story of Grace Darling is incredible. She and her father rowed out in stormy seas to rescue survivors. We'll be hearing more of her in my Bamburgh video. Karen heads off to buy some Lindisfarne mead to take home. I head off to take a few more shots from the ridge above the priory. That's our 3-hour tour of Holy Island. Fantastic place. Love to spend a couple of days here or more, because at dawn there will just be amazing photographs to be had, no question. Still, we're on to Bamburgh next. I find my way back to the car park. Shame we didn't go into the Pilgrim's Coffee House, as it has an excellent reputation, apparently. What an enjoyable morning and education it's been to visit Lindisfarne. It is a remarkable and special place.
those steps look a bit wrong.